I met Putin when he was a much younger man. In fact, his first year as president, he came to the...
A spy? No, not then.
He had been a spy earlier. He'd been a KGB agent, I'm told, of some distinction, but middle level, but had risen very fast. And then Yeltsin, who was a bit fond of his alcohol and was really getting quite decrepit towards the end, appointed Putin as prime minister. He then found himself in a position to succeed when Yeltsin finally had to step aside. And he came to the UN, which is where I met him when I was accompanying Kofi Annan, and he was meeting with Kofi Annan. And I found, for a somewhat slight figure, he's not a very tall man, 5'6" or something, or 5'5", slim, thin, and very restless. I remember him shaking his foot like this all the time throughout the meeting. It was a very strange sort of, you don't expect a head of state. They're all sort of people of great dignity and gravitas. And here's this guy constantly going up and down with his feet. I remember thinking that that was quite a curious business. Subsequently, I moved on from the Secretary General's office, head of my own department. I didn't have that many opportunities to meet the gentleman face to face, but clearly he grew enormously in stature and power in the course of the 20 years that have followed. He's been president or prime minister briefly, but basically president for 20 years. And in those circumstances, the amount of power he's amassed within Russia have made him unchallengeable within his own country, but have also possibly prevented him from fully appreciating how the rest of the world sees him in his country. Because this has been a public relations disaster for Russia. I mean, it was only June last year that both Putin and Biden had met in Geneva, and there was talk of the Americans and the Russians rediscovering each other cordially. The Americans were all focused on China and on the Indo-Pacific, and the Quad was the big thing. Exactly. And now my worry is the Americans will completely forget the Indo-Pacific, take their eye off the Quad, and focus once again on Europe, thanks to the Russian misadventure. And I'm not entirely sure what Mr. Putin's strategic objectives are. Where does he want this war to go? What does he want to achieve? Is he trying to get regime change in Ukraine and knock off the president, put somebody who's a puppet there? Is he trying to capture territory in the eastern half of the country? What exactly does he want to do? And how will he achieve what he wants to achieve by military means alone? As it is, the Russian troops are not making very rapid headway. Various people were confidently predicting that the capital city would fall within 2 days. Well, it's been 4 days and it hasn't fallen. Indeed, some smaller towns haven't fallen. A lot of people don't like the idea of a foreign army, even if it's a brotherly foreign army, marching in and taking over their country. And